Hey, mighty pal, do I have your attention? And can I get your attention without screaming and yelling or having to use GIFs and emojis? Good question. So, this is about asking, do I have your attention creating and improving on our email subject lines? Yes, we are into video number 7 in the It's All About Email Marketing Tips and Training series live video chats. And if you want your audience to open your email messages, well, then it's imperative that we learn how to create subject lines that get your subscribers' attention. I mean, because not only do you have to do the work that you're already doing of getting them into your email community, yes, you need to then send emails, and then you need to get people to open and read those emails. I know it feels like a lot of work. It's worth it, but yes, you then have to inspire them to keep and intrigue them enough to take action on what's in your messages, which is part of why there's a lot of pieces that I keep talking about in terms of email marketing, because I know it's just that important. And all the little pieces, they add up. We can tweak little things and make little steps that take us to big results. And I know some of my favorite peeps may not be watching me live, they're on the replay, because I saw them. They're over in another class working on getting tips about copy and copywriting, which is awesome. And yes, they're going to come back and you're going to watch this here in your replay. Hey, and you're going to get tips because all of it goes together. Because you and I both know that we have crowded inboxes today. In the email I sent out today, I asked you how many unread emails do you have in your inbox? Hey, Renee! And I said that I get on average, I don't know, anywhere between 20 and 30 is what I wake up to. And that's in the email inbox that is dedicated to subscribing to other people's lists, where I learn from. Plus, there's the ones that's replies from clients. There's, like system type emails and all that. There's so many of them. And I'm betting that you skim and skip straight to the trash on some of them every day, which is a whole other reason why we need to keep emailing consistently and more often than weekly or monthly. Because if you send an email out only once a month and it hits on the day when somebody gets 42 emails before breakfast, what do you think the chances are that they're going to remember you and why they want to open that one email you sent a month? Boom, there went your chance to talk to them and share with them and help them and present your offer to them. Yeah, that was a tough lesson to learn. So, look, there's a lot of overwhelm and there's potentially a lot of clutter in the inboxes, but there are some steps that we can take as email marketing business owners. And one of those things that help get in the way of that whole clutter and overwhelm is honestly because the subject line didn't grab your attention enough to make you stop and read it and open it or star it or archive it and not just trash and delete it. So one way that we get them to open our messages, and now time out real quickly. I am not worrying and stressing about email open rates because they're a crap measure of marketing success. I have a whole other video about that. If you want, I'll link to it in the comments. And all of that's changing. You still should be vaguely aware of how one email is doing versus another in terms of email open rates. So when I give you a tip in a second about split testing and testing your own emails, it's about looking how well did one version do against another, how well have those things done over time for you, and taking with a complete and utter grain of salt the crap measure that is an open rate. But we still want people to take the action of opening the email, even if our data doesn't track it, because that's how they read it, and then that's how they click and do things. So subject lines need to be clear. They need to be to the point. Yes, we're going to use keywords that are relevant to our businesses and our offers and what's inside the emails and makes people want to see what's inside the emails. They shouldn't be tricky. They should not be you trying to be a wordsmith a punny person. They shouldn't be about trying to be tricky. They shouldn't be about trying to be overly clever. I see some people stress too much about being overly clever by half in their email subject lines. No. And we're also not doing any bait and switches here either. So no click. Okay, clickbait to some degree works because it's about psychology and it's about the 6 factors that I'm going to teach you about today. But what we don't ever want is bait and switch, where we tell them it's about one thing and then we don't pay that off in the email. No. Don't do that. That's not it mighty marketing. No. So the whole part about earning your opens is that it goes back to building relationships. That's what we're trying to do with email marketing. It's why those first essential emails that I've been talking about lately are so key, that you have to develop know, like, trust, rapport, and create a connection with your email community from the start. That's why I'm doing the webinar on October 5th. It's why I'm doing the live hands-on workshop in October. So that when you have a relationship with your email readers, they look for your emails. They're going to pay attention to the subject line. They are trying to open them. We just got to nudge them to do the thing. And the more that we practice and the more that we test, the better our writing skills get. And the better we get which of these 6 types of subject lines that I'm going to talk about are the ones that resonate with your people. And you need to keep testing because that may change over time. But the better we get at writing emails that people want to open and actually want to read, well, then the deeper the connection that we have, that's better for us and it's better for our businesses. So don't forget, we're getting these emails opened and read, but you still have to write the emails that deliver value and make offers. So we don't want to forget having strong, clear calls to action and telling people exactly what to do. But first, we have to get their attention in the crowded inbox. So, like I said, they're short, they're clear, they might be snappy at times if that fits your personality and your audience, but no bait and switch. There's a famous line in marketing that we talk about: tell and show, don't sell. Selling is what comes in the body of the email, perhaps. And we're going to touch on this in a minute. But yes, human psychology, consumer psychology says that using things like scarcity and emotion and piquing curiosity, yeah, it all works. It basically opens a loop in your reader's brain, and it makes their brains itchy. They're itchy to close the loop. Make sure your email closes the loop. So the other one is that we want to make sure we use the tools in your email software. For me, this is really easy with inside of ActiveCampaign to tell it to split test for a subject line. In fact, maybe I'll even go over into ActiveCampaign right now while we're talking so that I can show you the screen where you go to select to split test. See, I'm talking and multitasking. Itchy brains. Yeah, isn't that sort of a fascinating? You can come up with a different analogy, Fran, but that's basically it. There was a scene in Roger Rabbit where Roger Rabbit, I'm really dating myself here, but the old song, like shaving a haircut, 2 bits. And Roger the Rabbit was a comedian and a prankster, and he literally couldn't resist. There was an itch in his brain, an open loop. He had to finish the dum dum at the end. And if you left it hanging and you didn't get to dum dum, he like burst through the walls. So we're almost kind of sort of getting to that with our email readers. But now, testing and split testing. You want to use the tools that come in your email marketing software. And if you don't have split testing as an availability, then that's one of those reasons why you probably want to be paying for email software that gives you the option to have full email automation and autoresponders. I'm looking at you, MailChimp and ConvertKit. You want to have the option to be able to easily split test at the very least your subject lines. Fran reminded me, yes, Sheldon on Big Bang and the Knox. He has to do it 3 times or other's eyes. His brain just itches itself until it explodes. When you are testing, the very basics of split testing, or you want to only be testing basically the same email subject, but with a twist. One variation, like one version is a question, one version is a statement. One version uses numbers, the other does not. One is longer, one is shorter. Why? Well, any of the scientists and psychologists in my audience would know this. You don't want to have confounding variables, because then you won't know what it was that possibly made the difference. You want to know, was it the fact that it was a question or a statement? Was it the fact that it had a number or not that maybe made the difference? You also probably want to try testing your email subjects, every single one of them, for like a month. You want to, especially if you're not emailing very often, you need to collect enough data to actually see some kind of real pattern and meaningful numbers. And then you're probably going to test again. Months later, a year later, I know people who test every single email subject line that they ever run all the time. It's just what they do. I don't test all the time. I test in waves. But because my audience and your audience will change over time, what catches their attention will change. So I did some Facebook Lives, and I showed and I reported, I believe it was last year, not 2019, I believe it was in 2020. And I was basically testing questions or not questions on the same email subject. And for a while, the data was looking like my audience responded better when I put my email subject line as a question. So I did that more often. But things change. So we got to change it up. And if everybody else that your audience is looking to and getting in their inbox starts asking them nothing but questions, well then we got to go and look at one of the other things. So, did you know there are at least six key types of email subject that have been proven by research? All of the major email software out there has done, and as they've run this against hundreds of thousands, if not millions of emails to show that these are the things that get people to click across different business owners. They get attention. You can combine them and mix and match these to figure out what works for you and your community. So, first up is curiosity. This is opening that loop in the brain. You want people to want to know more, and they got to click to open it to pay off whatever it is that's made them curious. There's something mysterious there. There's intrigue there. You want curiosity, but not confusion, right? You want people to be, tell me more about that. Not, what did you just say? It's funny because I literally just heard a copy expert say the exact same phrase earlier today, which tells me I'm on the right track here. You also don't want to get too cute with your curiosity. So I actually have some of these saved up in a document that I'm probably going to give away as a bonus on the webinar or the workshop that's coming in October. So if you want the handouts and you want to make sure that you are registered for the webinar. So a curiosity subject line might be something like the top 5 lies about blank, blank, blank. And you can even create a series of emails with myths, lies, misconceptions. Mostly because people are like, ooh, I'm deeply curious. What's the lie? Or about myths. They're like, really? That's a myth? I mean, come on, folks. You've all clicked on one of those BuzzFeed articles. I know you have. There's a reason. Open loop in your brain. They also want to know, oh my goodness, are they making a mistake? Or have they fallen into one of those misconceptions? And then they can feel really super smart when they're like, I knew that. I knew that. Another one. What you need to know about blank, but we're afraid to ask. Now this is a juicy one. I'm like, ooh, what have I been afraid? What have you needed to know about email, but we're afraid to ask? What do you need to know about bedtime, but we're afraid to ask? What do you need to know about chocolate, but you were afraid to ask? This is one of those ones where you might need to test it because, yes, it's on the longer side for an email subject. Test it. Here you're going to notice that, yeah, we're mixing things in. We've got numbers mixed in with our questions and mixed in with our curiosity. And, so 7 weird ways to do blank. Could be 7 weird ways to prep for public speaking. 7 weird ways to do dinner tonight. Any kind of strange, bizarre, weird fact or idea related to your niche. People are like, I didn't know that. And then you get to pay off the fact or the weird things in your email and tie it back into your offers, what you give value about. But test these out. So curiosity. Okay, next up, straight up questions. Questions open loops in the brain. It makes us need to know more. Kind of like Jeopardy, it leaves us compelled to go answer the question. So one of my favorites is something along this, like, a reader just asked me this. You're like, what? Wait, what? What did they just ask me? So there's curiosity there too. And then you answer a question from your blog. You answer a question that somebody sent in via customer email. You answer a question somebody asked you in a one-on-one. Because I can guarantee if one person's asked you that as a client, other people have the same question. Maybe it was a question that was asked in another group. I believe when we had a discussion last week and I gave you ways to get past brain freeze about writing email, questions, frequently asked questions, is an endless source of email inspiration from you. Well, putting the question in your email subject is pretty key too. So great. Renee's putting this into action already. My email preparedness today led with "can't catch a break?" ? Excellent. And that's even blending a couple of these things together. Another question might be, are you frustrated by, put a word in there, fill in the blank. Are you frustrated by your toddler? Probably. I'm pretty sure. Everybody. Are you frustrated by diets? Are you frustrated by back pain? Are you frustrated by the lack of chocolate in my house right now? I don't know. Come up with something. But there's lots of things we could be frustrated by. Your niche and your audience is frustrated by something that you help them solve. Ask them if they're frustrated. Questions. So what else? That's 2. 3. Success. So not everything has to be negative. And yes, I'm going to mention pain points in a minute, but not everything has to be negative. Success. We all want more success. We want to know how others got there. We want our clients, our ideal clients that we're calling into ourselves, to see how we can promise to help others get more success. Now, there's one other one of the 6 types that deals a little bit with this. It's called outcomes and inspiration. Success is more general. Okay, so it might be like the number 1 success tip for, and you can either name the result or the person. The number 1 success tip for overweight middle-aged women. Call myself out. The number 1 success tip for insomnia. The number 1 success tip for fast dinners. Everybody wants a success tip. They want a quick win. Other things about success, and this gets a little more into a little edging toward inspiration, is, do you ever dream of blank? Ooh, tapping into now we're tapping into the positive side in terms of compy about wants and needs. And it's not just, itchy nose, allergy season, that it's not just about pain points. It's also about what do we dream of? What do we want? So an example, for somebody who's in home design might be, do you ever dream of building your own log home? Well, I don't know. I hadn't, but now I might. Do you ever dream of confidently speaking to a crowd? For a public speaking coach, or about self-confidence? Hint, Fran, write that one down. So we can think about positive things. So I just wanted to share one quick, I was going to see if I could screen share in a second, but apparently I have to actually test email 3 split. I have to come up with, in order to hit next, so that I can actually show you split testing possibly inside of ActiveCampaign. So before we get to 4, 5, and 6, I'm going to share my screen. And yes, come on StreamYard, we're going to share, there we go. So real quickly, we're inside of my email marketing software of choice. We're inside of ActiveCampaign. And when I went to say, hey, I want to create a new campaign that I want a campaign, meaning like a broadcast. This is an email that I'm sending on a Tuesday. This is the email that I'm going to maybe send you on Thursday. And so I had to give it a basic name just so that I know where I'm going. And the very next step inside of ActiveCampaign is, who am I sending this email to? So in this particular instance, I'm like, well, it's going to be the Mighty Marketing Mojo. This would be also where if I was sending this to a segment, I would select the segment drop down. But you see now from the very first screen, I'm going to back up a second because I skipped a step for you. What kind of campaign type? I clicked split testing. And then it's going to ask me what kind of split testing do I want to do. And the very simplest form is the one that's already filled in by default. Test an email subject. That's it. So if I go to next, it's going to get to the point where I write the emails. And I will show you really quickly where we go and we adjust our email subject lines. Okay, this is where I'm, because I started from scratch. So it's asking me, oh, there's every single email that I've written. Those are all of my past campaigns. Let's go back to my basic templates. And my own templates have moved themselves all the way down here to the bottom. So we're going to select that. And I'm putting in a, do I have your attention yet? I had to put in something. It says you can always change this later. That's what that says. But I have to put in a subject line. Now I'm going to show you how we go and add the test for the subject line with inside of ActiveCampaign. I may have done a training video once where we looked at this in ConvertKit and inside of Aweber as additional options. So the gear icon up here at the very top right in ActiveCampaign is where we get to go and change our subject lines and the very important pre-header text that shows up right next to your subject line in somebody's inbox. You can see, please add at least another. It says 2 tests. Well, do I have your attention yet is the first one. So we're going to add a test. And we're going to make this a statement. So we're going to say, I need your attention, please. A statement, pretty much the same thing as what I said. This would be where if I wanted to change the pre-header text, I could keep the pre-header text the same for each of them and just change the subject itself. That would be the cleanest of the 2 tests. And now you can see test 1 says, do I have your attention yet? It's a question. Test 2 is I need your attention, please. And I'm going to close that. I'm leaving this blank as a template right now, just so I can show you the very next step. Usually the step, it'll be down here. So there it is. There's no pre-header text. Those are the 2 subject lines. And down here, there's the split test options. Depending upon the size of your list and how often you're sending emails and stuff like that, you could tell it to run the test and then determine the winner, which would mean that it's going to send it out to a portion of your list, sometimes like 30%, like if I selected this, there it's going to do. And it's going to say, how are we going to determine what's the best message? Best open rate after 2 days. Now, see, here's the thing. By letting it determine and send using the winner, I don't want it to wait 2 days. I'm sending a time-sensitive email. If I wait for 2 days, you'll have missed the next video. So that's why I'm going to go with not determine a winner. If you're doing other types of campaigns or launches, you might decide that you're going to run that test and let it decide on the winner. It's going to send it like 30-30, or send it to 20% of your list, send the other one to 20% of your list. Whichever one gets the most opens wins, and everybody else gets that one. I tend to run don't determine winner, send it 50-50. I want half my list to get one, half my list to get the other, and then at night or the next day, I go into the campaign reports in ActiveCampaign, and it will show me the open and the click rates for each version of that email, and then I can see overall how to do. So that's how you set up a split test inside of ActiveCampaign in the most simplest of ways possible. Let's go back to number 4. So pains and problems. So being positive is good. Being positive is good. Success, inspiration, dreams, yes. But most of your ideal clients and customers have some kind of trouble. They need you. They need what you offer. Whether it's about saving time, saving them money, helping them to make more money, helping them to have happier relationships, find more love. Those are the key basic elements of what they might have problems and needs around, but they need you. What's missing and what's the struggle? So in that instance, tips for getting this result. Give them a specific tip for achieving a result that your people want. See, that's actually a positive sentiment as an email subject. You're giving them a tip. You're telling them how to get a specific result. But you're also talking to something that they really, really want to improve. So I could have sent this email out. Maybe I could have tested this as 6 tips for getting someone to open your emails. Yeah, I definitely should have tested that as the subject line. 7 smart ways to blank. We've talked about numbers. Numbers open things in our brains. Numbers and lists work well for emails as well as they do for blog posts or videos, like 6 types of emails to send. When you're also using something specific like 7 smart ways to do blank, achieve blank, you're appealing to your audience's ego. You're telling them that they're already smart, and here's the thing that's going to make them smarter. And we all pretty much want that. Another one that's got a positive spin, again, on problems, and you're offering solutions via an email, and your offer is the better solution that's inside of the email. Get more blank with these easy fixes. The keys there are easy and fix, because people love shortcuts and they like solutions. Get more kitchen space with these easy cabinet fixes. Get more clients with these easy content hacks. Betting each of you has something in your niche that you can give what may feel like to them as an easy fix. You're getting them started, and you're also presenting your offer to them, your solution, your webinar, your masterclass, your workbook, your content as the way to get even further and more fixes. So the next one up is outcomes and inspiration. This is taking the notion of success and going further. What's the outcome or pain relief that you offer? How can you inspire somebody who's dealing with a struggle? And or what's the more specific outcome that your prospects want? There was an example shown to me that says, would you like to blank that will amaze your friends? Would you like to teach your dog tricks that will amaze your friends? Okay, interesting. Are you ready to do more than just dream of blank? Are you ready to do more than just dream of running a marathon? And what are your tips? And here's your coaching program on how to get them there. You're going to give them the specific outcome, and you're continuing to inspire them that you have solutions that will get them to that outcome. These take a little bit more playing around with. They take knowing what results you get for clients. What are the outcomes that they are looking to achieve? We all have them. We can drill down on them. This is where I'm going to say take 30 minutes, take 60 minutes over the next week, and write down everything that comes into your head about outcomes, results, what your ideal client is looking for, how you help them get there, how you help them with confidence, how do you help them with going from total chaos and clutter and disorganization to organization and not missing a meeting, not missing a homework assignment. You're going to take a little more brainstorming to write down outcomes and inspiration. The next one is probably pretty obvious. I'm sure you've heard of this. I'm sure you've seen it. You probably have emails in your inbox right now that use number 6, urgency or scarcity. People, FOMO is real. Fear of missing out is real. And you need to use it. Plus, again, the way our brains work in terms of when we buy things and when we take action on things, it's good to remind people before an offer runs out. Okay, there's always going to be somebody going, oh, I didn't know that sale was over. I didn't know the webinar was over. I'm like, yes, folks. Register for the webinar before October 5th so that I can send you the replays, and because you don't want to miss out on what comes next. To get the handouts, to get the goodies, to get the tips about writing a welcome series of emails that actually builds connections and works on converting people, you have to actually register for the webinar with me, okay? Tuesday, October 5th. Yes! Fran's got it. This will be where I'm also really good if I hold my own banner. So there it is. That's the address. It'll make sure it'll be in the comments. Come back and watch it. Check for the comments. So urgency and scarcity. And I think Fran said, yeah, she's seen a lot of this. The hardest for me to do unless the sale is ending. So the other part of this is scarcity. People want things that are exclusive. It's like big name brands. Like, why are certain handbags so popular with women? Because they're exclusive and not everybody has them. Why do you think there are people who for the last, 30, 40 years have been selling knockoff handbags on the streets of New York? Why? Because they know the real things are really scarce and that most of the rest of us can't afford or to want to pay like a month's salary on it started in the 80s with a Gucci bag and then eventually became, Michael Kors and Kate Spade and all of that. They're exclusive. You have exclusivity. If you can only take 5 clients this month, you are exclusive. There are only so many spots on your calendar. There are only so many days in a week and hours in a day. So yes, these could be the classic email subject lines of like, hey, exclusive coupon code inside. Hey, only a few more hours left for whatever the sales is. You've got 1 day to watch this. People take out. So there's a way that, you could have a master class, you have a webinar, and maybe the replays are only going to go up for a certain time. Lots of people who do summits, and it's cool. You can register for the summit for free. Oh, but you've only got 48 hours to watch the videos before they come down. So that's the email that's going to drive people to go buy the VIP access, because we all know that we're not spending the next 48 hours straight watching every single summit session. They know that. So yes, looking at it as excellent. Thank you, Renee. Looking at it as exclusive makes 6 work a little bit better for you. Absolutely. We are all exclusive clubs. If we are working with clients at any degree one-on-one, if we have courses, I teach in the other half of side of my business and my consulting in my library, my nonprofit pals, when I do webinars for systems across the country on marketing topics, they always ask me, they're like, how many people can we let register? And part of it is, how many people can I legitimately serve and possibly connect to in a webinar? There is scarcity built in because there's only 30 seats. There's only 50 seats. If I'm doing a live workshop somewhere in person, it's how many seats are in the room. I'm sorry, but there is a limit. There are 10 people allowed in a workshop. If I was going to get really tricky, I'd tell you that I'm not upping my Zoom limit, and I've got a limit of 100 people for the webinar on October 5th. Make me up my Zoom limit, folks. Register so many people that I have to go pay more money to Zoom. But, you know, I've certainly people, you can use that. Going back to, again, to the one-on-one clients, you could send an email out. Excuse me, my nose really itches today. You could send an email out and say, hey, I'm taking private clients, but I've only got 3 slots left this month. I've seen people send it out going, hey, I'm really excited. I just brought somebody else on board. I've got 2 slots left. You are looking really exclusive now. And if somebody has a problem or a pain point that is painful enough that they need fixing, they're going to want to jump on the fact if there's only 2 more of you left, or how many seats left in a workshop, how many books left. So play on that to the degree that it makes sense for you and that it feels good for you, because it's about getting attention, and it's about getting them to pay attention to the valuable information that you are putting in your emails and to the valuable offers that you're sharing. Now, I will also share one more little tool here. I'm going to add this back to the stream. There we go. Stupid nose. There's a tool called, there's several tools out there. I like this one. It's called Share Through. And this is a headline or subject line checker. And you can put your stuff in here, and it's going to measure it based on, are you using words that evoke emotion? Are you using more powerful words? Are you using words that connect with other people? Are you using words of context? The great thing is that when you use the tool like this, they'll generally also, either via email or someplace else, they'll point you to a list of, these are the words we mean. I've compiled a whole bunch of those as well from different sources that say, hey, these are power words, these are contact words, these are emotion words. That's a freebie that you may get as a bonus in the webinar or the workshop in October. So you want to keep your eye out on that. But Share Through is a pretty cool tool to give yourself a quick check and to see if you make tweaks to your subject line, can you get your score to go up? Another tip, if you don't already have it, keep a swipe file. A swipe file is a folder or a label in your inbox where you stash the emails that grabbed your attention. It had some copy in it that resonated. There was something in the subject line that stopped you, that you actually opened it. So save those emails, those few that do that. Maybe every now and then one of them is mine. And you can go back every month and take a look at what you saved and ask yourself, why did I save this? What caught my attention? In fact, here's a little exercise tonight. Go in your inbox. Go where you've gotten emails from people that you subscribe to, who sell services, who have courses, who have webinars, who have coaching services. Who have you signed up for? And what's going on in their subject line? Pick 5. And look to see which of the 6 key types, the key subject elements of copy and consumer psychology that email subject line is using. Is it not using any of them? In which case, then the question is like, did it catch your attention at all? Did a tree fall in the forest and no one heard it? The next step, of course, is if you're writing and sending an email this week, pick 1 of the 6 that feels right for you and feels right for the email that you are sending, and figure out how to work that into your email subject. Next level, go and make a split test for it. So absolutely, this is a good question. Fran's saying, she opened an email this morning and read it instead of just skimming it. Go back and take a look at it. What was it in the email subject line that got you to open it? And then the next step is, if you really want to start deconstructing, what got you to read through the email instead of just skimming? And I'll notice right now, it's like I tend to skim the ones from the people who I don't remember why I joined. It's like, wait, I can't quite tell because there's no visuals, and I'm not sure from your first sentence, but what is it that you do again? I mean, it obviously has something to do with marketing because that's whose lists I sign up for. But I'm like, I find myself skimming and going, okay, there's nothing calling out to me. There's nothing bolded. There's no subjects. There's no headlines. There's no images. I'm bored. Nothing caught my attention. I opened the email, but nothing caught my attention. And here's where I'm going to ask you to hold me accountable. Those of you who watch on replay, those of you who are watching live, and especially if you're in the Mighty Marketing Mojo group, keep me accountable and see that I remember to test my own emails this week and over the next month. Make sure to call me out if I'm not using any of the 6 elements that we've just talked about. If I didn't ask questions or ask curiosity, because when you practice writing more emails and when you start paying more attention to the subject line, your email community will pay more attention too. And it gets more natural to write emails. It gets more natural to write email subjects. It gets more natural to write and incorporate all of this, the copywriting hacks and the attention grabbing elements that have been proven over time to work. We just got to practice. So there's an excuse for you to go and write more emails, because that's the only way you're going to go and practice. So yes, come back, go through Jennifer's emails and see what she has used to catch our attention. Absolutely. Hold me accountable, Fran. Hold me accountable, everybody who's watching. If you need help and you want attention on your email inboxes and writing this, you can borrow my brain and we can maybe do this together. I hope this helped you, and I want to make sure that you come back for the rest of the videos in this series when we're going to be talking about how your business benefits from simple email automation and why I actually have multiple automations and how that's actually keeping things simple for me. And then we're also going to talk about, in fact, there's 7 ways and 7 benefits. See, that's probably going to go in the email subject line for tomorrow. The 7 benefits of email automation. And then we're going to talk about time to pay attention to your email welcome nurture series, the most essential emails that you will write, the most read emails. And then there's going to be Ask Me Anything email. So if you have questions, if this has opened up a loop and made your brain itchy about email marketing, then drop your questions in. Come drop your questions on the Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook page or in the Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group, or email me your questions so that they might show up in the Ask Me Anything that's going to be on Friday afternoon. So, all right, everybody, go practice writing attention-getting emails. You can do it.